Hi friends, good morning. Welcome back to SGK English Elementary English Grammar. Today, let us learn the use of in spite of and despite. I know you have heard of this and many of you may know the use of it. What is meant by in spite of? So, in spite of means without being affected by. In spite of means, what does it mean? Without being affected by. For example, he is very poor. Someone, imagine a man is very poor. Still he sent his children for higher studies. So he is very poor, still, but he sent his children for higher studies, in the sense that poor people cannot afford to send their children for higher studies, higher education like PhD, etc. So, though he is poor, even though he is poor, he sent his children for a higher study. That's the meaning of it. Though he is poor, he sent his children for a higher studies is the meaning of it. So, how can we rewrite using in spite of? See, in spite of plus ing, ing form, present participle. So, in spite of plus ing of the verb. So, what is the verb in this sentence? He is very poor. Is the verb there. Is the verb there. So, what is? Forms of be. Be means what? Am, is, are, was, were. So the real verb is be, not is. So is plus ing is what? Not easing but being. So in spite of being poor, in spite of being poor, he sent his children for a higher studies. Yes, in spite of, when you use in spite of, you have to use ing form of the verb. So, how to use despite? When you use despite plus noun form. So, I mean, he is very poor. Noun form, poverty. So, despite his poverty, not despite of, in spite, despite means in spite of. There is no of with the despite. So, despite his poverty, which means in spite of being poor. Despite his poverty, he sent his children for a higher studies. That's the use of it. In spite of plus ing, despite plus noun form. So, despite his poverty, which means in spite of being poor, he sent his children for higher studies. I hope it is clear to you. So, in spite of means what? Without being affected by. So, in spite of plus ing, despite plus noun form. Take another example. He worked hard. See, he worked hard. Anyone, okay, any of you or someone. He worked very hard. Yet he failed. So when you rewrite, don't use yet, but, still, such kind of conjunctions when you rewrite using in spite of or despite. So he worked hard. What's the verb here? Worked. So ing with the work. Ing always with the V1 or root form of the verb. Okay. So, in spite of ing with the work, working. In spite of working hard. In spite of working hard, he failed. Whereas, when you use despite, how will you use despite his hard work? Which means, in spite of working hard. Despite his hard work, he failed. So, either you can say in spite of working hard, or you can say despite his hard work. The meaning is though he worked hard, he failed. Or even though he worked hard, he failed. That's the meaning of it. I hope it is clear to you. Yes. Is it clear? Take another example. I was tired, still I went out, but I went out. So though I was tired, I went out. Even though I was tired, I went out. Whereas when you use in spite of being tired. In spite of being tired. ing with was, not wasing but a verb be. Amisar was way. So in spite of being tired, I went out. Take another example. It was a hot day. So it being a hot day. You see, the day was hot. It being a hot day, being a hot day, no? So I did not go out. It being a hot day, I did not go out. Okay. So I hope it is clear to you. Yes. Is it clear to you? Once again, check whatever I have told you, whatever we have discussed. Once see that despite and in spite of meaning is same, but you don't use of with despite. Meaning of it is without being affected by. Okay, so in spite of plus ing, despite plus a noun form. Okay, na? So that is use of in spite of and despite. I hope it is clear to you. For more updates, subscribe to the channel SGK English. Thank you.